1035.
Welcome back to Get Down to Business. We are the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Thrilled to be joined by my friend Tom Broadwater, the president of Americans for Work, a nonprofit that advocates on behalf of minority, youth, and disabled workers. And the big question right now is, will Donald Trump be a champion for Black Americans? And I know, Tom, that's a question that you've been grappling with. And you actually just recently wrote an interesting op-ed in the Detroit News, and I'm thrilled to have you on the program to discuss it with us here in Chicago this evening. Tom, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and my best wishes to you and the people of Illinois. Yes, I did write an op-ed about African American and other disenfranchised groups who were having challenges in the labor market, and what their opportunities could be with Donald Trump. Generally, these are traditional constituencies of, say, the Democratic Party or left-leaning parties, and they are predisposed to think that he can't do anything, or he won't do anything, or maybe he has some kind of racial animus and hate. But we tend to look at Donald Trump as not a Republican. He is essentially a maverick entrepreneur who took over one of the political parties. And so if we look at him as a businessman, a guy that will take practical steps and be flexible and do the right things, or things that will produce right results, there are opportunities. They're very big opportunities for multiple communities and multiple groups of American citizens.
It's a fascinating discussion, and I want to take it piece by piece. And I know that this is something that you work for and that you advocate on behalf of, as I said earlier, minority, youth, and disabled workers. But let's take it piece by piece. We know that Trump has promised to make America great again, but I think it's fair to say that the president is not a historian. He seemingly has never even heard of Frederick Douglass. But yet there's a chance that because of his promise of make America great again, there's a chance that through his promise of focusing on charter schools, focusing on education, focusing on some criminal justice efforts, that he, as you said, he might actually be a help and a champion for Black Americans. But Tom, I'm curious. Before the election, you, like many of us here in Chicago, you followed the politics. You followed what was going on. What did you think of Donald Trump? Did you think that there was a chance that you'd be saying that maybe he could be a help? What did you think of the alternative? What did you think of Hillary Clinton? Who do you think would be the better option for Black Americans?
Well, I think, let's look at both the traditional Democratic and traditional Republican candidates, who were Hillary Clinton and Jeb Bush. They were so mired in nuance and grayness and gray areas and not able to speak very truthfully or frankly to the public, that they essentially sabotaged themselves. And so, in our opinion, my opinion in particular, I think that Bernie Sanders won the Democratic primary, and Donald Trump won the Republican primary, and they were completely outsiders to those parties. But they won because they were focused on the contest, not about nicety or party tradition or anything. They were focused on speaking to their target audiences about what those audiences wanted to hear, what they wanted the answers to, and they provided some lucid, candid answers. So it's good for the country that neither Hillary or Jeb Bush were able to succeed. It's very unfortunate, in my opinion, the Democratic Party did not allow Bernie to take the mantle and run against Trump. That would have been a very interesting contest. And
it's obviously following Democratic politics right now. It's interesting to see as the party is supposedly being transformed. I know Tom Perez has been traveling around the country, and I know they're having discussions regarding super delegates and the changes that will be made. We'll see where that plays out. But you have an interesting perspective on, again, the real nominee of each of the parties. So Donald Trump was the Republican nominee. He certainly has a very populist message, and he has said here in Chicago, I know we've been attuned to his messages of what is happening in Chicago, and occasionally he uses choice 4-letter words about what's going on in Chicago. But the reality is that he has said that he's going to do a lot for African Americans, and the question is, can he?
Yeah, I think he can, and let me help you, or let me articulate why. The biggest challenge is facing the African American community. Let's focus on that one group, though our organization advocates for a number of people. But the biggest challenges facing the African American community nationally are inferior education, owing to unfortunately this whole slavery thing that happened now 200 years ago, or 200 and 300 years ago. But it's still with us, and it has continued to inhibit and continue to influence the behaviors and attitudes of people who come into contact with African Americans. Number two, I would say that the criminal justice system is a big challenge to African Americans getting ahead in society. By 23, nearly 50% of African Americans have a misdemeanor or felony citation or conviction on their records, which is these days internet and electronic.
Tom, I'm going to have to squeeze in a quick break over here. Yep. We'll have Tom Broadwater, again, the president of Americans for Work, coming back in with us in just a moment. We'll be right back and get down to business.